Alright, y'all, so today I'm going to be reviewing the film K-Pop Demon Hunters. This was a film that came out a few months back. Really became a worldwide global phenomenon. When this movie came out, man, I just kept hearing them songs on social media all the time. And so many people were talking about this movie. And I was kind of interested in it, but, personally, I am not that big of a fan of K-pop music. I really am not. I have tried. I've listened to some of the BTS songs I don't mind, but it's personally not my genre of music personally. I just feel like I don't know. But I know a lot of people in my life personally that are quite obsessed with K-pop, which for that fact alone, a lot of people are going to watch this movie. Now, I really didn't know what to expect. I wasn't really going in with high expectations, but I am really proud to say this movie's actually really good if you give it a chance. And I was quite shocked because, like I said, I really do not like K-pop, right? I don't really like K-pop. It's not my genre. I'm not crazy about South Korea and all their stuff that comes out from there. So going into this, I was really surprised how good it is. And not only that, but I also really enjoyed the music. The music is strangely very catchy. And like I said, I don't like K-pop music. I don't. I'm not a fan. I'm not a BTS stan, whatever they're called. I'm not. But I was really surprised by the quality of music and how catchy it really is. But let's get into the pros and cons of this movie and go into it. So the first pro I gotta say is the characters. The trio, so to speak. They are basically these kind of hunters that basically use the power of music. Then the power of music basically gives it uplifts people. It gives good vibes. It gives their energy, their souls to enforce this musical thing powered by their music, in a way, a shield from a world of demons trying to come up and take their souls. Like I said, it's really a crazy premise, saying it out loud. They explain it a little bit better in the movie, and it sounds wild. And like I said, a lot of this kind of shouldn't work, but it does. It really does. What really grounds this movie is the three main characters. You got Rumi, Zoe, and I think her name is Mira. Could be getting that mistaken. But the three main characters are really cool in this movie. I liked them. They were enjoyable to watch. They were funny. They were relatable. They felt like young adults. It was crazy how fun they were to watch. And I felt like they were fun. And I think, in general, it was massively helped, too, by the animation. The animation in this movie is kind of similar to Spider-Verse. Now, not necessarily as a bad thing. I just feel like a lot of movies take inspiration from Spider-Verse when it's not really needed, just because that movie looks the way it does because it's more of a comic book, right? And I feel like a lot of movies are starting to copy that style for really no good reason. In this movie, I think it works fine. Now, I think sometimes it could be more fluid in its animation, but for the most part, the animation was fantastic. The animation's outstanding. They were able to express things with the characters' emotions and feelings so creatively in this movie. Like, I haven't really quite seen an animated film express themselves, like, with emotions in these characters as well as this movie does. For example, like, if a character's feeling love, that person will throw a literal heart at them, or like, like when, for example, the Huntrix women see the Saja boys, which are kind of the antagonists of this movie, they go all goo goo gaga, and the way the animation presents that is crazy awesome. So the animation's really good. It's really high quality, really good stuff. And like I said, this is all for a Netflix movie, which I think Sony Pictures Animation did this, so I'm not too surprised the animation is really great and fantastic in this movie. Also, the story. The story is surprisingly really solid. The whole story arc with Rumi, who we find out later she's like a half demon, half human huntress who at first hides her demon past or demon origins, and then eventually at the end of the movie chooses to embrace all her faults, all her imperfections, but just being the truest, version of themselves. And honestly, that theme at the end of the movie is really strong and powerful. It actually impacted me because, let's be honest here, we're not all perfect people. we've all made tons of mistakes in our lives, but part of the, I guess, growing up, or moving along with life, is to embrace your past and embrace everything that you are, the good and bad, everything that's who you are. And this movie definitely gives you that message, and it's okay to be different and all that kind of stuff. And I think it's a really good message. I think it's really good. It touched me personally. I really liked it. And I think it was really shown very well at the end of the movie, especially with Rumi. I think her story was really good. It was well developed. There's another character too that's kind of a, I guess, love interest for Rumi, but he's like another guy he's like the demon who comes. He's like one of the demons from their world coming to them with a boy band, and basically working for this dark overworld to basically destroy the shield that's blocking the demons from coming into their world mostly, and giving souls to him. And by the end of the movie, he decides to sacrifice himself for something greater and defeat this demon overworld. And I really liked him as a character too. I was a bit surprised, especially when you learn more about his backstory and how dark it is. It was really well handled. And yeah, like I said, the story really surprised me. The main characters were really likable. The songs themselves were really catchy, surprisingly. Like I said, this comes from someone who does not care about K-pop. I really don't really care for the music, but the music was really good in this movie. It's really catchy. The animation's really good. And surprisingly, the story is really solid. The only real complaints I have with this movie is that maybe it could have went into things a bit deeper. Maybe it could have explored a few of the other characters. Could have, maybe explored more of the other two Huntress ladies who, they have definitely some arcs as well. They go through the movie. It's just not as well developed as the main one, which is Rumi or whatever. And, just some more exploration, maybe some more war building, maybe explaining how this magical shield actually works. But for the most part, like I said, they're not huge complaints. This is a movie I highly recommend. On the surface, right, you don't like K-pop. This seems like an annoying kids movie, but it actually has some really good messages to give to kids. It's obviously still a kid-friendly movie, I would say, but it gives some good messages to kids and adults. Like I said, it touched me personally a bit, and it's a very solid and really good Netflix animated movie. So I would highly recommend K-pop Demon Hunters. And yeah, so that's my quick review of the movie. Hopefully you all have a good day, and peace, y'all.